metal shear and corner cutter are absolutely necessary depending on what type of work you're doing. I use my metal shear and corner cutter daily for the most part. And the cool thing it will allow you to do is stock metal, sublimatable metal, that you can now cut and do anything you want with it. So if somebody required a 1x3 name tag with rounded edges, instead of having to stock those, which is what we did in the beginning, we just started buying the sheet, the metal that's ready to sublimate, and then it's pretty easy to cut it down. So this one is 1.5 inches. It's already 1.5 inches. So let's say we want an 1.5 by 3 inch name tag. This has a little measuring stick right on the top of it. Makes it super easy for measuring. So there's our 1x3. The cutter, I've actually got 5 different attachments. I've got a hole punch, 2 different sizes, corner rounders, and then one that's actually a negative cutter. I'm going to show you both right now. But typically what you'll be using the most is a 1/4 inch R, which means round. You just put this in here. I'll give you a close-up of this in a minute. And just like that, you've got rounded corners. If you wanted to do something like this, and we do this a lot for awards or a lot of picture gifts, you want to do a reverse round off in the corners just to make it decorative. That's really simple too. There it says 1/4 inch in. Goes in here like this. And same thing, you're just pressing it in. It'll only go in one way. You just press it all the way in. Give it a little punch. And now you have in-cut corners. So you can get these. I bought mine from JDS. This was expensive. I think it was $1,000. I think this was $400 or $500. I should really know. You can get them cheaper. You can look around and find this is just a metal shear. But I use this thing all the time. To be able to make custom metal pieces any size you'd like. I even we needed this actually what this is. I wanted the customer wanted a very thick metal name tag. Well, this stock metal you can only get so thick. This was actually a license plate. I had a bunch of white license plates and I just cut them up and made it much thicker. But if I hadn't had the shear, I wouldn't have been able to just cut my metal. So instead of having to stock a bunch of different sizes for name tags, all you have to do is buy the aluminum. I guess that's aluminum. Yeah, it's aluminum, right? All you have to do is buy this, keep it in stock in sheets, and if you have a cutter, you can cut it any way you want. As long as you're cutting it square. Alright, so for our little class of 2020, there's a 3.5 by 4 picture plaque that goes right there. Alright, so this is the picture that we are going to put on our piece of metal. The actual piece of metal is 3.5 by 4. So when I made this picture, I made it 4.20 long and 3.70 wide. So that'll give me just a little bit of bleed all the way around the edge for my metal. Four inches long, 3.5 inches the other way. So now we have our square. So we're going to put neutral corners on that. And now this should fit inside of our picture. So we'll just sublimate this after we take the plastic off, of course. I always leave the plastic on. Some people will be like, why don't you just take it all off in advance, because I don't want that metal getting hurt or scratched up. So we'll just sublimate this, and then this will be ready to be attached to the plate. You don't have to use heat tape on these. But, you know, it's a one piece. If I were doing a bunch of these, I wouldn't use heat tape, but there's no point in taking a chance in ruining it. This butcher paper comes off Amazon. It's non-coated butcher paper. It's cheap. And the big metal roller that I use, they come off Amazon too. And I always use butcher paper. I keep a Teflon sheet on the press for doing t-shirts, so that's the only reason I have it on here at all. And I always butcher paper. I know in some of, if you watch some of Sublimation 1's videos, Michael Kaminsky, he'll say, no paper, no Teflon, just pure press and profit. Well, if you look at his press, it looks like he makes pizzas on it. Because I use this press for garments too, I don't ever want sublimation ink on my press. So paper's cheap, and we use 375, 1 minute, medium pressure. Got my little white gloves. I talked about these before also. These are just like little band gloves or clown gloves. We sell them on our website for some of our customers. As a waiver, these will not protect your hands. You will still get burnt with these on. But if you try to handle something delicate with these big bastards, they just don't work. So this will let me just touch things for a few seconds, move things around, and that's all we're going to do with this metal. Open her up. See, I can touch that. It's not burning me. And I'm going to lay it on a piece of slate. If you have any type of slate, I'm just using a sublimatable slate. But if you have any type of slate like this, when you lay a thin piece of metal on it, it immediately sucks the heat out. So that makes it nice if you've got something you're trying to work on right then. So that's already cool to the touch, just from being on the slate. E6000 is just kind of a standard. Everybody uses E6000. It's like a rubbery cement glue. Doesn't set up right away. The cool thing about something like this is it will give you the ability to move it around. So I'm just going to put a few globs right there on the back. Set it pretty much where I think it needs to be. And then press down, apply pressure. And then let that dry overnight, and you're good to go.